Good evening, everyone. This is Pine Grove News Live. Blessings to everyone. It is Wednesday, January 15th, 2020. And I guess we have made history again. 5:18 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Pelosi and their demon rat squad sent over to the Senate the articles of impeachment. And that was signed at 5:36 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And listen, they all got free pens. Yeah, free pens that we paid for. Yeah, and they probably, they look like a good portion of it was made of gold. Black pens with gold, tips, a couple inches back. Yeah, anyway. Yeah, and in the meantime, last time I checked about 35 minutes ago, the national debt was only, $22 trillion. Yeah, but let's all buy everyone on this squad, and I think there's 8 or 9 of them. But anyways, it's just it's things like that, days like today, that really should tell you that we're done with. Yeah, this happened with Clinton. Yeah, it's not the same thing. No, this is, I guess they call it a partisan thing, one-sided. And because they're, and someone said, from the Fox 5 at 5, okay? Greg mentioned, they're upset. Clinton is still pouting, and it's disgusting, man. They get in a businessman who's not a politician. Their politician was not elected. Anyways, I can't stand this. Is the reason why I hate politics, and they just added to it. It's not just the reason. I don't like politicians because they lie, cheat, and steal, and everyone thinks it's okay for them to do it. How? How is it okay for them to do it? That's one of the things that Democrats, stressed above all other things, that no one is above the law. But they are. Maxine Waters, I've just cringed at her standing in that what do you call it? Well, we got to call them something. That group of 9 there. You see them, we had to watch them walk through the halls from the House of Representatives to the Senate to give these 2 things that were on, silver trays, it appears, and hand them over. Really? It's just a ceremony that these Democrats are really enjoying, because they can. And I don't know if they know, but maybe they do, and they don't care, obviously, that they are ruining this country because of it. Anyways, enough of that stuff. Yeah, and that's why I played the song, Eve of Destruction. Yeah, you should listen to the words. They were played back in the Vietnam era, when there were a lot of people protesting the war movement. But anyways, the 2 of them I get out of it that were right after each other was, one, human respect is disintegrated. And we're going to talk about that more tonight too. 18 signs of it. Human respect is disintegrating. And a handful of senators don't pass legislation. Well, let's put that on the House of Representatives. Yeah, what did they do all year? I think maybe they co-signed after Trump got this Canada-Mexico deal done. This guy has been working his butt off while these senators just sit around, or whatever, not senators, House of Representatives. They don't represent a darn thing. The only thing that even resembles them representing anything is chaos. And we know where chaos comes from. And I was reading, what was it, Daniel 28? Or was it, no, it was Ezekiel 28. Yeah, Ezekiel 28 about Satan. You know? I'm going to go look that up. I want to read some of it. Let's go. Ezekiel 28. Yeah, a lament. Is that the part I want to read? Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, let's read 11 through 19, okay? And the title of it is A Lament Over the King of Tyre. Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Son of man, take up a lamentation upon the king of Tyrus, and say unto him, Thus saith the Lord God, Thou sealest up the sum, full of wisdom, and perfect in beauty. Thou hast been in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was the covering, the sardius, the topaz, and the diamond, the beryl, the onyx, and the jasper, and the sapphire, and the emerald, and the carbuncle, and gold. The workmanship of thy tabrets and of thy pipes was prepared in thee in the day that thou was created. Thou art the anointed cherub that covereth, and I have set thee so. Thou was upon the holy mountain of God. Thou walkest up and down in the midst of the stones of fire. Thou wast perfect in thy ways from the day that thou was created, till iniquity was found in thee. By the multiple of thy merchandise, they have filled the midst of thee with violence, and thou hast sinned. Therefore I will cast thee as profane out of the mountain of God, and I will destroy thee, O covering cherub, from the midst of the stones of fire. Thine heart was lifted up because of thy beauty. Thou hast corrupted thy wisdom by reason of thy brightness. I will cast thee to the ground. I will lay thee before the kings, that they may behold thee. Thou hast defiled the sanctuaries by the multiple and multitude of thy iniquities, by the iniquity of thy traffic. Therefore will I bring a fire from the midst of thee, and it shall devour thee, and I will bring thee to ashes upon the earth, in sight of all them that behold thee. That is the end of Satan. Of all that he's done, that is his reward. Some say that he may, that's not going to happen. No, he's going to suffer forever. I don't know. Not according to Ezekiel 28, 11 through 19. Oh, that fires me up, man. It makes me angry. What these people who have no respect for human life and dignity and, just throw it away at a drop of a hat. Start a war and send our young ones to death. For what? For money. For power. Yeah. All right. Sorry, people. Let's first put this up. Fair Use Act. This is called the Fair Use Act and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. Okay. I say that because I'm going to be showing you some articles, and we'll tell you who they're from as we get there. But let's bring you some quick ones first. This is from the Watchers, and we'll read this article, but then I want to go and show you the feed bureau of all the other articles that are there, and they're on the right-hand side, as you can see. Let's so see if we are live on YouTube, and we are. So let me go over there, check that out. That's working. But anyway, I don't know how to pronounce this. Dated today. Mississippi officials urged residents living near the Oktibbeha County Lake Dam to evacuate on Tuesday. That was yesterday. After heavy rains put a dam in imminent threat of failing and prompted a flash flood emergency. Yeah, they've been getting hammered all year. It's crazy. And not just them, it's happening all over the world. And that's what I want to show you in a second. After inspection, the county engineer believed failure of the dam is imminent, said Mississippi Emergency Management Agency. The dam and engineer found extremely high water levels in the lake, which is around 120 miles northeast of Jackson. So be warned. Pass it around. You know, take this article and somebody in that area, Mississippi. I mean, I don't know if there's anything to happen today. That if the storms are still going on, I just haven't had time to go over the nation's weather. But I want to bring you here and show you the same place. This is from the Watchers. This is their feed bureau link that they give me with all their news. But just look at it. I'm just going to read them very quickly. We don't have time to get into it too much. But you can go over to the Watchers and get any one of these headlines and go read it for yourself. Things from, 23 hours ago to 2 days ago. Multiple new fissures reported. Total evacuation within 8.6 miles in the Philippines. Mongolia preparing for extreme winter, catastrophic for the agricultural sector. It's very important. Extreme weather wreaks havoc across Pakistan. Death toll jumps to 75. Ontario hit by heavy snow, freeze and rain, and record-breaking downpours. Canada. Extreme cold and heavy snow hit Afghanistan, killing at least 17 people. Rare snow blankets the Sinai Peninsula in Egypt. We have an article on that. The UAE smashes 24-year-old rainfall record. Widespread flooding and destruction reported. At least 12 dead as massive winter storm system hits the U.S. This is has something to do with that Mississippi. And then we have the other ones that are older. And so before we get to the main articles, we'll bring you some more of these things. End time headline: scientists warn Australian bushfires are a foreshadow of worse to come. Yeah, this is the topic for tonight, man. It is worse, getting worse. It's terrible, getting worse. But you need to know these things because this is what we're looking for. Okay, I'm not going to go into it. We have other things that we're going to go into. This, I don't know how important this is, but it seems to be pretty important, seeing that Russia is part of this Magog unit, I guess, maybe even Gog. Well, I think Gog is Turkey, but not sure. Russian government resigns after President Putin's State of the Nation address proposes changes to the Constitution. Wow. The whole government resigns. So Russian Prime Minister Dmitry Medvedev, however you pronounce that, has announced that the entire government is resigning in a surprise statement released shortly after President Vladimir Putin delivered his annual State of the Nation address, accepting the registration. Putin thanked the ministers for their hard work and asked them to function as a caretaker government until a new one can be found. So anyways, we can go into what Putin proposed that made them resign, basically giving them more work, I believe. Anyways, see, Putin had met for a work meeting to discuss State of the Nation address earlier this Wednesday. The Kremlin said Medvedev explained that the cabinet is resigning in accordance with Article 117 of the Russian Constitution, which states that the government can offer its resignation to the president, who can either accept it or reject it. No kidding. All right, so I'll just pull this up if you want to stop the video later on and read it instead of going to the article, which I will supply the link. Yeah, it just proposes major amendments to the Constitution. About his own posts, says people should vote on changes. He wants them to vote on changes where before, I think the government just, I thought government, I don't know, agreed with it or not, or disagreed with it. Now they're going to give the people the vote, and they don't want to do it that way. So, Putin's not, I don't know, from what I got out of it, he's not the bad guy here. He wants to do something different. Maybe even give him some kind of, democratic choice. Where the government before just, after whatever was drawn up, they agreed with it or not. Crazy stuff. I have a hard time enough with my own government's politicians and crazy stuff that they're doing. Maybe it's contagious. Yeah, outrage over Space Force's use of Bible in swearing-in ceremony. Remember a couple years back that they were thinking about taking that, and they did, I guess, take the Bible out of the swearing-in process. But I've actually seen that with these impeachment hearings or some other case. I don't know, but I've seen it in there recently. But apparently this group that focuses on preserving the separation of church and state in the military is fuming over the newly formed Space Force using the Bible to swear in its first chief of space operations. Anyway, I think we all should basically know a little bit about the Space Force, and it's been around for a long time. They're just coming out to the public with it now, just like everything else military. You won't hear about anything until they're ready to let you hear it. Got to be a reason for it. Most likely it's funding. They're going to take more dollars than they've already taken. Major floods strike Iran, leaving a year's worth of rain in 3 days. At least 3 dead and over 20,000 homeless in Iran. More problems that they have. Okay, so here's the first of 2 articles that I wanted to kind of get into depth with, and maybe I'll just go very quickly. This is from the Economic Collapse. Every once in a while, I'll come up with this. End time headlines, though, they do the work that I do. I've stated this before. They collect articles from other people who have put these things out, just like I do. I don't do that. I don't do the stories. If somebody else does it, I just pass it along. That's how these stories get, their attention by watchers, us, people passing it along. So in any case, they got 4 minutes to midnight. I don't know if it's 4 minutes now. Isn't it still 2 minutes to midnight? So in any case, 7 major earth changes that are happening right now that everyone needs to know about. So, and I believe this is from the same guy, yes, Michael Snyder, okay, who wrote this, who also did this upcoming article that I'm just going to look at, 18 signs that social decay in America is worse. And don't we know it, right? Don't we know it? It's just totally collapsing. Total degradation, disgusting. Anyways, there's never been a time in modern history when our planet has been changing as rapidly as it's changing right now. The sun is behaving very strangely. Freakishly cold weather is breaking all over the world. Ocean temperatures continue to rise. Volcanoes all over the globe are shooting ash miles into the air. And you can go on, click on, they got these links. He's got these links attached to these articles where he actually, did this work. So that's, so what he's talking about here is backed up with data. I just love those kind of articles. I'm not going to go into that one, miles in the air, because we've been talking about volcanoes, and there's one that went off a day or two ago that is in the news. Not mainstream media, though. It's not on mainstream media. So, yeah, and of course, Australia's experienced the worst wildfires that they have ever seen, and the North Magnetic Pole, and we've talked about this, have been moving at a pace that is deeply alarming scientists. Could it be possible that all of this bizarre activity is leading up to some sort of crescendo? Yeah, I believe so. Don't you all believe? What do you think this is all building up to? Yeah, we may have things in the heaven, and Jesus told to watch for those that are manipulating some of these things, but that's not the point. The point is, what is it all building up to? It's building up to the coming of Jesus Christ, his second coming, his last coming. And he's not coming as a lamb, he's coming as a lion. Going to set this place on fire. Any more than it already is, probably. Anyways. So we'll just go to the list. Okay, number one. According to NASA, solar activity has dropped off to the lowest level in 200 years. Yeah, we've talked about the solar minimum and the lack of sunspots in solar activity. A lot of us are thinking that this may be causing a little ice age, which down here from 1645 to 1715 was marked by a prolonged sunspot minimum, and this corresponded to a downturn in temperatures in Europe and North America. Named after the astronomers Edward Maudin and his wife Annie Russell Maudin, this period became known as the Maudin Minimum, the Little Ice Age. Well, I don't know about you, but I know that 1645 to 1715 came and gone, and we're still here. They're not, but we're still here. Okay? Didn't destroy the planet. We know that, they call it a little ice age, but we know that there wasn't an ice age, as anyone else thinks of an ice age to be. Like they claim it happened 10 to 12,000 years ago, with the woolly mammoths frozen instantly in the Arctic. Yeah, that wasn't a little ice age either. And that wasn't the ice age. I believe that something came in or something happened to the atmosphere, just opened up the atmosphere, maybe some kind of microburst or what did somebody call it? Minotaur or some kind of burst that opened up our atmosphere and just opened it up to space. And these creatures froze right where they stood. That's what I think happened. I don't hear that out there. Maybe it's out there. But in any case, I don't think that's going to happen. Not yet, anyway. So, and they'll just go on talking about the solar activity gets very low and it's traditionally meant very cold and very snowy winters. Well, we've seen the weather for the past 5 years. At least I have been, since I've been tracking it. Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse every year. Colder and colder. and not just that, warmer and warmer. The extremes are up and down. I don't see a consistent cold or consistent warmth. I think the jet streams are all messed up. Somebody's either messing with them or some other influence is the reason. But in any case, I mean, and this is in the, I thought we went over it, but this is in the news today. Egypt getting snow. I thought I picked that up. No, I guess not. Yeah, right here. Yeah, I thought I picked it up. Extreme weather sparks snow in Egypt and blizzards in Greece. Crazy winter engulfs globe. So I'll have that article there for you. But they have their articles. Egyptian capital Cairo was also turned white as the start of the month, despite the city not having snow in 112 years and experiencing less than an inch of rain each year. Many parts of Greece were covered in snow in early January with low temperatures and strong frost. I mean, we've been listening to a lot of these stories, okay, over the past few years, especially over there in the UK and Germany and places like that. I mean, I remember, top of my head, fountains of ice, just icicles everywhere. The cement, the surrounding trees, everything just looked like it was the big icicles, like there was an ice storm. And colder than usual, colder than they're used to. And they're getting a lot of that. And look, man, we had 71. Say 75. Somebody said 75. It could have been 75 on Saturday when I went out. They said it was only going to be in the 60s. But when I went out, it felt like it was the 70s. And anyways, I told you about those 2 days. And we don't normally have those even 2 days in January. In New England, we do not. And brother over there in North California, they're still experiencing 40-degree temperatures in California. Northern California, but still, it should be warmer. So, meanwhile, number 3, the oceans of the world just keep getting hotter and hotter. We've talked about that. Ice, volcanic activity in the waters. We've heard articles from, well, I forget from who, but talking about Atlantic, new volcanoes popping up in the Atlantic and the Pacific. It's not usually talked about from the Atlantic, but it's there too. And people have been covering that. The ice is melting from underneath the Arctic shelves. Well, it was a year or two ago, they were talking about the ice melting from underneath, but the ice on top was growing. So it's kind of like, I don't know, somewhere along the line, it may just do a flip-flop and turn over. I don't know, but there's still ice. But apparently that part of it, I haven't heard about the growth in a while, but I do keep hearing. So that may have changed recently, this past year. Because we've had a lot of stories about cracking ice shelves, drifting off, creating huge icebergs the size of Rhode Island, blah, blah, blah. So, that was number 3. Number 4, there have always been wildfires. Okay, and we're talking about the 7 major earth changes that are happening right now that everyone needs to know about. That's what we're talking about. Wildfires, they've been going on for 2-3 years now, most in California, West Coast, up there in Washington and into Canada. Lots of fires on the southern East Coast too. Fires all over the place. I don't know. I'm going to say Greece, Italy. I don't know. I've heard about fires all over the world. Biggest one so far is Australia right now. And you remember, don't forget the Amazon rainforest that they were talking about that was burning. I don't hear anything about that anymore. I hope they put it out. Yeah. Even though they're saying it's only 20% of the oxygen that we breathe, take away 20%. Wow. What happens then? The 20% of the population disappear? I don't know. So, number 5, during the first half of 2020, volcanoes all over the world have been roaring to life. And I don't know what he's talking about. We're in the first month. Sorry, Michael. We're in the first month of 2020. I'm sure he was talking about 2019. So anyways, volcanoes all over the world have been roaring to life. We've seen so many of them come to life in this past year, especially this past year. Yeah, this ash that's in the sky. I mean, we've mentioned about, what was it, Krakatoa? Was it Krakatoa back in the 1800s that went off? Changed the growing season and pattern for, I don't know if it was the whole planet or just, North America. I don't know for sure, but it definitely had, impact on our agriculture. Get enough ash up there, it's definitely going to block out the sun. You get planes up there, and it'll seem, a lot worse. Yeah. It's just funny. I was thinking how man could really impact the planet. And I don't believe that he really can. Maybe his area that he's living in, but not the whole planet. No, it's changing all the time. And I don't think that we can really have an impact. This is my opinion. And number 6, all of this is taking place while the North Magnetic Pole is moving towards Russia. The following comes from CNN. The North Magnetic Pole has been slowly moving across the Canadian Arctic. And we've talked about this already. Since 1831, I've heard that it's moved a lot faster just in this past 5 years at a breakneck speed. They're saying in recent years at a rate of around 34 miles per year, which has forced scientists to update the world magnetic model. Yeah, people are talking about aviation. They might have to change, certain things in their programming, as far as being able to land a plane and stuff like that. That changes a lot of things. And number 7, on top of everything else, the Earth's magnetic field has been steadily weakening. Yeah, we've heard about that. From somebody who watches it every now and then, I suppose it's weakening, and they're saying that it has a lot to do with the solar minimum. Okay, that and the lack of sunspots and the radiation, solar storms and whatnot. That's why our planet is, the magnetosphere is weakening, because it has nothing. There's nothing there to make it stronger. So if these solar winds and we had more sunspots, blah, 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 and they started coming quicker and more sunspots, thankfully we won't get any CMEs directed at us. But these things, once they start beating on the magnetosphere, it will start to grow. It's I don't know if counterintuitive is the word, but what's another word? Symbiotic. I mean, everything that the sun does to the earth responds in kind. That's what I mean. It's just reciprocal in what they do. That's just, how I've noticed it anyway. And I don't think the Lord would make, well, anyways, he doesn't make things that are flawed. I agree with that. But yeah, there are probably other forces out there that are definitely trying to influence, and maybe the Lord is just letting them do it. I'm not going to talk about this one. I'm going to end it right here. Okay. I was going to talk about this from the end of the American dream. The 18 signs that social decay in America is worse than it has been ever. I don't want to rush through that. We've talked about many of these things before, and there's like 4 or 5 signs in there just on suicide. You know, the increase in those numbers and percentage over the past, since 2017. Well, they go from 2007 to 2017, so 10 years. And so, maybe I'll just come out tomorrow and do a short one on this. Well, maybe I'll just save it for Friday. But I'm going to talk about it, so I'm going to leave it up there. And those of you who want to look at it, I'll even put the link in it, so maybe you can look at it right now. Okay, so with that, everyone, it's Wednesday, middle of the week. Got 2 more days before the weekend. Just, pray for each other. Everyone pray. We need a lot of praying. I'm telling you. Prayers, there's power in prayer. That's all I can tell you. There is. Something that I just 2 minutes here. There's something. When I was young, in my walk, it was every day. It seemed like I was asking the Lord, what can I do? I'm getting fired up. I want something to do. I want you to tell me what I need to do. And I was so anxious all the time because I thought I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. And I wanted him to direct me to do it, to do whatever he wanted me to do. And I probably went through a couple of years like that. And it was terrible. And I know a lot of brothers and sisters out there do the same thing. But what I've learned from that, and what I've told my brother today about that, is look, man, you're always asking yourself what you need to do. Well, what you need to do, you're already doing. You're studying the Word. You're to become a disciple of Jesus Christ. You're to learn about the Word, about the Bible, the Scriptures. And the more you learn, the more you want to go out there and tell people. And eventually it'll be easier and easier. And it'll, and that's what you do. You're to be a disciple, and then you are to finish the commission. We have a commission to go out there and spread the word. And we're doing that automatically when we're learning about the Bible. And so, yes, it took me 2 grueling years to figure it out. No, I didn't figure it out. The Holy Spirit, walked me hand in hand through that process, calmed me when I needed to be calmed, set me up straight, pointed me to the Word, and just kept learning. That's it. Reading the Bible and learning and studying, the books, that keeps your mind focused on what you should be doing. And that's what you're to do. That's what you're to do, period. So start there first. The rest will come. It will. Trust me. I'm just talking to you from experience. Went through 2 years of it. And let's all pray for each other for calm and peace, and forgive each other and help each other out, lift each other up. With that one, everyone, God bless you all, and peace out. See you Friday.